After Deltarune Part 2 was randomly shadow dropped a couple of days ago, I decided to take this opportunity to talk about its predecessor, Undertale. Now I know that for this particular game I'm awfully late considering how famous and how many people have talked about it in one way or another, but I'ma do it anyway. I overall came late to the Undertale party since I was alienated from the get-go because of how overbearing its presence was on the internet. There was a time that no matter where in the internet you went, there was something related to this game being talked about somehow. It was either being played, memed, or other questionable things that quite frankly made me not want to try this game at all. Plus, the game looked like this. So it took me a while to come around, but thankfully a friend of mine kept persisting and telling me to try it. So eventually I saw it on sale and fuck it, I jumped into it and well, it blew my mind. Like I mentioned, I am not a big fan of turn-based RPGs, mostly because I tend to get bored of them very quickly, since most of these games rely on the same mechanic and formula of farming enemies to get stronger, then beat up bigger monsters and rinse and repeat. Here is where Undertale shines because it grabs that formula you know very well and flips it on its feet. This is a game that makes you feel bad when you kill enemies to level up. Hell, as soon as you start the game it tries to trick you, teaching you quickly and effectively that maybe playing this game the way you're used to playing other RPG games isn't the way to go. They warn you and test you, and maybe you think, oh sure, whatever, it's just a story gimmick, and you just start killing monsters and leveling up until suddenly the music stops. Everything gets very eerie, and this message pops out, making you realize maybe this time your actions actually have consequences. So you feel bad and you start again, and here is where I think the game really starts. Sadly, the scenario I just pointed out is how I wish I'd had my first experience because I think that's how Toby Fox intended it to be. But like I mentioned, by the time I played this game, it was impossible not knowing anything from it. Like the fact that Sans was the hardest boss, and that the game divided in two very distinct endings. The Pacifist Run, which is basically playing the game like not an RPG, and the Genocide Run, which, well, how the name suggests, killing every little thing that moves and reaching the end in the highest level possible. And well, all the neutral endings, which is a weird mixture of both. I decided to start with the Pacifist Run because I thought it was the most unique aspect of this game because, like stated, the Genocide Run weirdly enough sounded like any other grindy game. And man, I'm glad I started with this run first. The key to this run was to understand every enemy and encounter you found. You did this by using the Act ability, which depending on the creature you were fighting had different mechanics. Basically finding the way to tell them softly, I don't want to fight, and if you failed, they will kill you. It was like many different puzzles you had to uncover for each boss and monster. Some can get very challenging, some can be very easy, but they're all unique to their respective fights. This is especially true with the bosses. All of their fights are long, interesting, and are just you trying to figure out what makes them tick and just getting to know them. You just end up loving all of them due to how entertaining and fun they are. The longer you move in this route, the more you fall in love with this world and characters. Then you get to the end and get blasted with banger songs back to back, and it all just feels powerful yet nostalgic. Nostalgic for something I can't quite identify, and that's amazing for me. Most of the best songs of the game are in the Pacifist Run, minus maybe the really famous one from the Genocide Run, but even in that emotionally draining run, the two good songs from the Genocide Run spark weird feelings of hope and hopelessness, always in contrast, because the odd thing is that the Genocide Run, you're rooting against yourself. This run is the polar opposite of what I expressed in the Pacifist Run. You feel uneasy throughout the whole thing, like you're doing something terrible, because really, you are. And the thing is, you have to really get out of your way to make this run work, because if you leave a single monster live, you end up in a neutral ending, and you don't get to fight Sans, which is the only reason why you would be doing this. I really don't think anyone enjoys this story-wise. Everyone's hiding from you. It all feels wrong, especially if you completed the Pacifist Run prior. Because now you have to kill all the characters you became so attached to. And here is a weird kicker, some characters know you're in a game and know you are doing this whole thing just for fun. Now, was the fight worth it for all the damage and all the sucky things you do? Well, yeah, but the ending wasn't. The ending fucking sucks, especially due to the fact that the game remembers you did the run, so now every time you do the good ending, you'll be reminded that one time you did the bad one, just for fun. So if you really want to have that famous Sans battle, go ahead, but story-wise and game-wise, the Pacifist Run is much more fun and overall better, primarily because you don't feel like a monster, which is funny because you would just be playing the game how you would normally play any other RPG game. Funny, isn't it? There is really a lot to unpack from this game, and even though I feel like I rambled a lot, I didn't even remotely dive into everything this game has to offer. It is really a game made with pure love, and it is such a treat to experience it all together. Hence why I left out almost any mention of story or characters. Don't knock it off due to the notoriety it has on the internet, because it is truly fantastic. Amazing game with an amazing soundtrack that most definitely has something for everyone, and really, it is quite a special game. It is memed on for a reason.